Hey guys, it's Tia. Welcome back to my channel, and this video I'm going to do is another review video this Friday, and it's going to be a review on not a very well-known video. It came out quite recently and I thought I'd do, and I got a request to do a review on it, and that is called the Anytown Show Black History Month. And it took me a very long time to edit this video, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And so let's get to a review and the breakdown, because I also put a breakdown in there as well, because I like to do the breakdown before the review. So anyways, let's get to it. Our show Black History of the Month starts out with a portrait of Martin Luther King going missing. Then we see our first character Ginger making an appearance for the first time in the show, asking Principal Bickley what is going on, and he answers with saying that the portrait of Martin Luther King got stolen. Then we see another character make an appearance whose name is Macy, blowing into a paper bag. Don't ask me why she's blowing into a paper bag. As Ginger says to her that she sure isn't a serial killer, and gives us the impression that Macy could be frightened. Macy, however, tells Ginger not to worry, and that she knows and reckons that it's just the netrophobia acting up again, but then discovers footprints which she thinks might lead to the culprit. Then the principal tells him to allow him to go and catch the culprits, which leads him to the men's room and discovers that the footprints led to the boys' toilets. When he goes in, he catches them. The boys in the room try to act all cool, but it doesn't work for the principal, as he demands them to show him their feet to see if they left their footprints. They refuse, and he asks them again, but more firmly. One of them shows him their foot, and he sees the same orange footprint that was seen earlier, and the principal thinks he caught them and the picture thief. One of them tries to get out of the situation by telling the principal to ask his friend Ed, saying he'll vouch for him, and then he asks his friend to vouch for him, but then he doesn't. And this said buttered toast gives me gas, which I guess he's trying to joke his way out of the situation, but then it leads to Ed's friend Eddie taking him with him. And then we see a new character who seems to really want to get the project done for Black History Month, and tells Reggie that they have work to do and responds with "coming, Mimi." Then we see two new other characters called Alyssa and Reggie, who say that Alyssa's partner called Duke is weird, but Alyssa, however, doesn't think he is weird, but thinks he's nice and doesn't think there'll be any problems with working with him, and hopes that nothing will go wrong. A time skip later on during the day, we see Duke for the first time and Alyssa again, who feels that they should be starting their project, but he doesn't say anything but sits there with his face in his hands. We see Duke's imagination, and it looks as if he's president, but it could be someone else, as they are referred to as Carter G. Woodson, who believes to celebrate a month every year which is dedicated to African Americans. Going back to reality, we see Alyssa getting frustrated at Duke, wondering what is going on. Then we are back at the school in the principal's office with Principal Bickley, who is telling Eddie, who had the footprints earlier, that he has been reported for several crimes at the school, and decides that he is going to expel Eddie. But however, he says to him that he did not do it. But then the principal tells him that since he's been found guilty and by the jury of his peers, it gives the principal the right to expel him. Then we see Eddie again saying that he didn't do it, and that he didn't steal the portrait, and the principal lets the jury say something to that, and they all say he's guilty, but one says that he isn't guilty. Then we see a new character, Penny, not agreeing with the other girl, saying that it's obvious that Eddie did it, and that she said she doubts that Eddie, and that Penny says that she doubts that Eddie would do such a thing like taking a portrait of Martin Luther King. Then we see another new character disagree and says that he had the red paint on his shoes, and tells her not to lie, which gives the impression that she thinks that Penny could be lying to protect Eddie, but then she says it may not mean that Eddie was using red paint. Then we see another new character called Rolf, who said that the red paint was near him, and we see a flashback of him, which was him holding two buckets which looks like either snakes or fish, asking twins of yellow descent, which is what he calls them, if they want to have breakfast with Rolf, which is basically him, and they look at him like he's mad and says that and they call him a racist lunatic saying that he needs help, which is because he said yellow descent. And then we see Eddie again telling him to come over and eat a red candy, which is basically a red sweet. And then we see Double D that we saw earlier in the bathroom telling Ed not to listen to Eddie and to see that it's red paint. But then we see Eddie again telling him not to listen to Ed, telling him that it's candy. We then see him thinking if it's candy or red paint, and then back to the present of Penny saying that it was red paint, that there was red paint on all over the floor, which tells us that it was red paint all along. Then Penny says that it was cleaned up this morning, and then we see someone say that there were footprints in the floor that morning, thinking that he broke in at night time and stole the portrait. But seriously, why would Eddie steal a portrait? But then we see a new character, Madison, saying that she was with Double D. She was at Double D's the other day. I don't know who calls their kid Double D, but okay. And the other day singing London Bridge is Falling Down, and him reminding her that it's Black History Month and not necessarily a singing show. But then it changes the subject, asking that she knows at least one African American, and about 10 seconds later we see Madison with her tongue stuck on a peanut butter ice, and Double Z saying it was for a party, and she says that she wouldn't be in a mess if it wasn't for George Washington Carver, and then he had not been an inspiration to create peanut butter, then she wouldn't be in this mess. But then we see Double D looking into a book and saying that Madison is actually right. And then we see out the window that Eddie's shadow and Ed wondering what he's doing outside. And then we're back to the present of Penny still believing that Eddie wouldn't steal the portrait or the picture of Martin Luther King, and that the girl in the blue jacket disagrees and says that Eddie did do it, as she saw bits of what he was doing the other day, and says it's not good. We see a flashback. We see flashbacks from the other day of Eddie and Double D, who seems worried about what Eddie's about to do, and Eddie of course says he is gonna do it. Back to the present, Penny, who's still defending him, saying that it could be anything, and feels that Eddie wouldn't do it and only seems to care about the money, saying why would he steal a portrait? So she's basically saying Eddie would only care about the money, why would he steal a portrait of Martin Luther King? Well, to my impression, he could have stolen it, and maybe he could have sold it for money if it was a legitimate portrait. But she reckons that he was framed, and that the same girl in the blue jacket disagrees with her, and Penny says think about it, and says that Eddie got grounded for a month, and says why would he be out in the middle of the night, and says that it's proof to show that Eddie was framed. And then someone confesses, a girl called Miranda, saying it was her, and she explains the whole story. She was talking to a girl called Courtney the other day, and Eddie comes along saying, "Hiya ladies," and holds out some shampoo, and says that it will make boys fall in love with them and asking if they want to buy it. And Courtney seems to, however, believe it and asks what it does. Eddie says it makes boys fall in love with you, as he said before, saying it's Ian Richton. And then Miranda says to her not to fall for it, thinking that she knows it's a trap, but then suddenly out of a blue moon, Miranda says, "Wait, Ian Richton," and he's like, "Sure, Ian Richton," even though he didn't say Ian Richton, he just said sure. And Miranda says, "Deal," but then back to the present, she says that Eddie swindled her and that she had to get her revenge. And so she went to someone who she knows called Dexter for help, but however, Dexter wanted to be paid if he was to help her out. And then a few time skips, we see another character called Judy calling Duke, who we saw earlier ago, into the kitchen asking him if he had the watch, more like her watch really, and then Duke says that he had lost it and that a pretty girl came by and said that her name was however Courtney, and that she persuaded him to basically give it to her, and then he basically admitted to her that he sold away her watch, and he becomes frightened of what Judy's gonna do, which was getting beaten up by her. We see Eliza again wondering what's going on, and then we see that Duke got beaten up by Judy when he came out of the place. Eliza was completely mortified at what happened to him, and he said that he got beaten up by Sister Judy again, which gives us the idea that she could be his sister. Sorry about that. Which makes Eliza ask the reason if he has imagination spots, and she is right about. And then back to Miranda, she says that she had to ask a recent friend for money so that she had Courtney, her friend, persuade Duke's sister to give the watch to her. Then we see a flashback of Courtney asking Duke for the watch, so then Courtney gave the watch to Eliza, which she gave the watch to Debbie. And then Debbie gave Miranda the money for the watch so that she could compare it to Dexter, so that she could get the Eddie suits, so that she could steal the portrait. And then she says, there you have it, she frames Eddie. Then we're back with Eliza and Reggie, who ask Eliza how Black History Month project went, which Eliza says it was interesting. Yeah, it was interesting because a lot happened. They were solving a case of the portrait thief, who aka was Miranda, who basically just did it to frame someone. And then that says that they left Judy. Then she says that they left Judy Duke's sister with a little surprise. Judy then is like lying on the sofa, thinking that she has nothing else to do, and then she sees a man with boxing gloves appear that we see as well. Judy sees him and she wonders why he's here, and then he says, a bald-haired boy and a buck-toothed girl hired me to beat you up, and Judy's like, wait, what? And she gets beaten up as we hear the little screams. Then back with Miranda and Courtney, who asks how did you escape asking her how she escapes getting expelled. Miranda says she managed to bribe the principal with allowance that she got that day, but it came with the price of having Fozzie the bear hanging with her at school for 2 weeks. Then we see Fozzie the bear making an appearance, just about to say a joke which we don't hear since it ends right there. Now, my review on this is that it's quite a good story and tells that before punishing someone, make sure it's actually them that did it, because they all thought that Eddie stole the painting because he had the footprints that led to him that morning, making everyone think that he did it. But when everyone found out that it was Miranda who did it and framed Eddie, everyone was surprised, but she only did it to get revenge on him. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you give it a big thumbs up so I know, and hit the subscribe button and notification bell to not miss out, and if you enjoy my channel and if you want to get to know me better. And I'll see you guys next week with my next video. Bye guys.